Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as we await the announcement of the mass balance patch, which was hinted in the latest Battlegrounds balance patch, which went over a bunch of stuff that's going to be getting changed. Terran, Zerg, we know like Bob and Ziliax and Raza will all get hit. I wanted to give my predictions, or what I guess I would hope to see in something we've never had really, at least a rotation, a mass balance patch. I don't know how big it's gonna be, but if they're hyping it, you know it's gonna be a big deal. And I will note on the reveal schedule for this week, tomorrow we got Deathlight cards, there's nothing on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have pre. So I'm thinking they'll be announcing it on Tuesday. Stay tuned, of course, to find out. But I want to give my picks for what I'd like to see get changed, or just what I think will get changed in general, because yeah, why not? We got the weekend to talk about stuff, so we'll do that. I'd love to hear your guys' predictions or desires in the comments down below. And we still have our giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders and 2 mega bundles for Into the Emerald Dream to enter that giveaway. Like and comment in the video, link down description below. The one with that thumb, right over there, that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel on Wednesday. I think that'll be the last day to enter. We hit another 1,000 subs by then. We're super close. I'll add another mega bundle. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. So yes, we know for sure Terran and Zerg cards will be getting nerfed. We know some older cards could be getting nerfed. And yeah, the Ziliax, Bob, Raza. So let's get into it. What do I think? First and foremost, I think the major change we need is Grunty. Grunty at 8 mana, as I predicted, is an absolute... Okay, I'm not going to go down that. It's already been stealth nerfed twice. Why is Grunty so bad? Maybe I'll get buffed, but I thought I'd start with a debate, okay? But yeah, we'll go over what we know it's going to get changed, like for sure. They wouldn't have mentioned it otherwise. Ziliax, I imagine it's the virus module. That one there, I think it loses Reborn. Like, what else are you gonna do? You could take away the poisonous, I guess, but then what is it, you know, what's gonna happen? But the Reborn is like the part where it comes back, it's really nasty. So if you hydration station it or bring it back that way, because hydration station's not rotating, then yeah, it doesn't become nearly as good. And yes, Ziliax, already the most nerfed card of all time, is going to get nerfed again. And who knows, maybe again, but none of the other modules really stand out right now. It's like just the virus module that's really, really gross. Bob, it has to be Recruit a Minion. Recruit a Minion, the ability to steal any minion, even if it has elusive, and just take it, is way too powerful. This card is good on its own with like the freeze. You got value. Like it doesn't need that. I feel like again, my pitch is to rework it, but they didn't say it'll get reworked like they did Raza, so it's probably not getting reworked. But like they make, yeah, it can make Bob 8, 9, 10 mana, and then the card's unplayable. I just think they should make it level up the tavern, right? Bob can do that for you, the Battlegrounds, and like buff all your minions or something, or give you mana, whatever, but just anything but steal a minion. Like, especially this set has all these wild gods and cool stuff, and neutral steals just shouldn't be a thing. That should be reserved for the classes that steal, like, you know, a rogue or a priest, right? It's kind of more in their DNA. That should be their role in the meta. Whereas this neutral, it's just way too flexible. You can throw it in any deck. We know it's getting nerfed. I just hope it's not just 7 mana. I really think Recruit a Minion needs a bigger change than that. And Raza, I imagine, like, it's, you know, it's hero power. We got a hero power expansion. I will probably be revealing a priest hero power soon in a couple days, so I might have an idea of why this is really good with it. But I'd imagine it's like for the rest of the game, the first hero power refreshes whenever you play a card, or like you refresh once every turn or something, right? They could rework the card. Well, no, they say they're reworking it. So would that be a real big rework? Maybe just something completely different. I don't know, but I imagine they cap it somehow with the hero power, or it just becomes a completely different card. Either way, yeah, Raza is going to be significantly impacted, and it impacts Wild right now because it is a meta player there. So yes, I expect a lot of complaints from Wild players, but what's new? They're treated like garbage anyways, so what difference does it make, right? And I am a Wild player. I just hit Legend, and I actually did it with Shadow Priest because there's nothing, like, you just die in that format. I played Shadow Priest. Oh my God. Anyways, so onto the cards that we don't know. And I think the most obvious one is likely the Investor. Like, aura effect of this card is just obscene. I feel like it should be buff your hand and deck or board, like just not an aura. I feel like would help this so much, right? Just not an aura. How about that, right? Or you can make it 4 mana or 5 mana. It is losing a lot of support. It's losing Growl and Yodeler, but I don't think they want to risk it. I feel like, yeah, you got to hit it. The extreme version, if you want to kill the card, is just take the health buff off. It's just attack. That could work too, but I don't know if they're going to try and kill StarCraft decks or just nudge them. It could go either way, right? But yes, I think the Infestor very likely to be on that list. I believe Zergling probably gets hit because if you look at like the hand buff hunter, it's not losing a lot and it is just obscene. I've had people play 0 mana because they get the +3/+3 spell and discount 0 mana like 14-12 on like turn 2. I've had that happen. That's not Hearthstone. That just isn't. It's terrible. I imagine this gets the was it the Trog, the old 1/2 Trog hop treatment where Battlecry summon another Zergling. I think that's gonna happen, right? I just, what else are you gonna do? You can make it 2 mana, but this card needs to be 1 mana for the decks it has. So I think Zergling probably becomes, yeah, summon another one. And we've seen that treatment in the past, literally for a 1-drop that was too good because it retained a bunch of stats. Sometimes we just don't learn, right? So I could see that happening. Discover Hunter looks really scary after rotation. It loses almost nothing. You could hit Niall, you could hit Rungari Scout, but I feel like Discover Hunter, it's more of a newer deck and not as egregious in its play pattern. And the big thing is alien encounters is the thing that is disgusting about it. You get this online really early, then you can do whatever you want because you have taunts protecting yourself and it's really hard to kill you. In the late game, it's really hard to beat you. So I imagine alien goes to like 6 or 7. Like, just slow this down, right? I would imagine that. If you want to kill the deck, you nerf like Niall, but I feel like that's a little too soon for that. And there's not a ton of community sentiment. It's more of a high legend thing, but I feel like you don't hit Discover Hunter if you're doing mass nerfs. Again, we're assuming they're doing that. You've got to hit the top stuff. I'd say like Weapon Rogue, but all the weapon buffs are rotating, right? So I'm not going to bring that up. But yes, alien encounters, that's the one I would expect to happen. But if they really want to gut it, yeah, Niall, Rungari Scout, you could add to that mix. Priest, the aggro priest is always really up there in Orbital Halo. I just think this card stands out as such an outlier. Being able to play this on 0 mana, get a 2/1 and Divine Shield, like it's almost unkillable. They're just smorking you, and then they didn't even mention Protoss getting nerfed. I am going to suggest 1 Protoss nerf anyways, regardless. But yeah, this card to me is just so dumb. It's so dumb. I'd like it to cost 1, cost some mana. Like, I don't know. I just don't like 0 mana high roll scam cards, which is what this is. And yeah, you could take an attack off, you could take a health off, but I like to see it cost 1, and Orbital Halo is that card that stands out that they could hit. Shutterblock just kind of terrifies me with all the battle cries we're getting, like, coming up, and it's so gross with, like, Incendious, with Jim Raynor, like, all these cards. I just feel like Shutterblock could go up in cost. Like, I don't know. I know it's already kind of feels bad at 6 mana, but it just, I don't know, future-wise, another year of triple battle cries is spooky to me. So maybe, just maybe it goes to 7 or 2 times, but Shutterblock, I know it's not a statistical outlier, but again, this is a mass nerf patch, so I'm trying to, you know, predict more outside the box. It's a way harder thing to predict or guess, but to me, this one just feels really, really silly. Or just change its interaction with Jim Raynor in particular so that it doesn't go face when you play Raynor, because it just feels weird that it does. I feel like any battle cry that's activated by Shutterblock, even if that battle cry activates another battle cry, it should count as being immune. I just feel that way, and yeah, that's what I would do. Starport has to get nerfed. Like, not necessarily the location. You could make the location 3, but one of the pieces, like one of them. To me, the biggest one that stands out is Liberator. It shouldn't go face. It just shouldn't go face. You look at Missile Pod, it's one you run in your deck and it does 1 damage. Like, and that's so good. And you just get this, to me, it's obscene. Liberator, you can look at not going face. Raven could be like 1 less bonus effect. Why does Viking gain more armor than Arcanite Crystal? Like, it's just so, they all feel so overtuned. Almost all of them, just Medevac, everybody complains about getting the taunts, but definitely some pieces should get nerfed. This location could get nerfed. Like Terran is just so unbeatable right now on ladder. So yeah, I feel like these pieces in particular are just so overtuned that I could see multiple of them changing. I could see the location changing. We'll see what happens, but I would not count on this card staying the same at all. I think that's pretty safe. I'm just gonna say all the hero cards, Kerrigan, even Artanis and Jim Raynor should go up a mana. All of them. They're all too good. They're all just too good. And Kerrigan can become 6 mana, go face, give you insane board presence and value. Like, I just feel like if you're gonna let other stuff breathe, you need more time for those decks to like be able to, you know, get ahead of this stuff. And yeah, Artanis, like you look at Protoss, yeah, it's below Zerg and it's below the Terran stuff, but not that much. And if you're really nerfing the other stuff, then is it just a Protoss meta? So like I look at Artanis and what it can do, I'd probably just hit all of them by 1. They didn't mention Protoss, so I don't think it's going to get nerfed. But yeah, I would actually bump up each single hero card by 1. And then we're looking at neutrals. I think Arcanite Defense Crystal isn't talked enough about. It's too much armor for a neutral card. Like, it's so easy to abuse for any Starship deck. We've seen plenty of Starship decks just run Crystal, no other piece. And it's obscenely good because 6 armor, like compared to the Druid card that's literally in the core set right now, it has less armor. It's a class card. Yeah, it's got an extra health and I think a tribe, but it's still kind of insane because you bring this back, it's another 6 armor, and then you're likely bringing those back. Like, it's just, it compounds so much that, yeah, I feel like this could gain less armor, go up a mana, like something like that. But to me, Defense Crystal is one that, yeah, as somebody who enjoys the slower decks and staying alive, it is egregious, right? The amount of armor you can gain with a neutral piece and not even be like the fact that almost no class Starship pieces see play, but this one does, is just kind of mind-boggling, right? Shouldn't the class ones be better than the neutral ones? It's a little backwards in that regard. Dungar, I know the Titans are rotating. This deck is likely gonna die anyways, but I don't care. I hate this card. I feel like it's just summon 2 or be 10 mana, slow it down, but probably less likely to be on the radar. But the feelings Dungar creates when you play it and win, I just loathe, so I will mention that. Seaside Giant, really being abused in StarCraft with all those cheap locations now. That you get like 0 mana Giant sometimes out on like turns 3 and 4, whether it's Warlock or Hunter in particular. I'd probably make it 12, make it at least 1 more like location use, or even 14 you could consider, right? But Seaside Giant, the early 0 mana 8/8s, it's not particular fun play pattern. I would kind of like to see get adjusted, or could see getting adjusted. And then the last card I will mention that I think has a good shot, Ceaseless, is in more decks than any other card right now, any other card. And if that's the case, you're doing a mass balance patch, you probably want to hit it. And again, it kind of, you know, destroys class identity in some way, giving every class a giant board clear for 0 mana at one point. How do you nerf this card? You could take one of these things off that discounts it. You can make it like 150 mana, 125 mana, buffing Holy Wrath, but it doesn't matter at that point. Or you lower the stats to like a 12/12 or something, right? There's a bunch of things you can do, but I do think Ceaseless is a card to absolutely look out for. And there's a million other cards, right? Like Hamba Paladin's been around forever. Gorgon Zorbu's in like in a billion decks. There's so many cards you can consider that it's so unpredictable. And I'm curious, like how large a patch it's gonna be. I feel like we're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna nerf so much. It'll be like 6 cards and we're gonna be bummed. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm really hoping they hit it hard, because this could be the most like crazy standard rotation ever. If they just nuke everything and then we have this new set that's all based on board-based big minions, could be a lot of fun, or it could be terrible. Who knows? There's no way to predict what's gonna happen. We'll talk about that more after the nerfs are announced and go off of that, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.